We were just doing a bunch of the wedging and locks, and Tashi Tim, after we finished, said, you know, that's another reason we might not want to use those. He said, I got a lot of clothes on. It doesn't hurt as bad with all these clothes on. Good point.
Also harder to find them.
Really good point. Harder to find them too. So make sure you beat them with the stick first. Then apply the lock second. Same thing applies with the blade. Go get any blade. Go get a sharp blade. Well, we're talking about leather clothing. It's getting colder. And I live in New England. It almost gets cold. And the reason I say it almost gets cold, oh, you guys will get a story now. It almost gets cold. I was in the military in the 80s, and I happened to be stationed in Korea with a friend of mine, Jake Campbell. Yeah, that was the name. And we're sitting on top of this mountain over the middle of winter in Korea. If you read about the Frozen Chosen, you know how I was feeling about this time. And I'm going, I'm freezing my butt off. And he's sitting over there, and he goes, I'm like, how can you be sleeping in this weather? He looks up and goes, you haven't been to Alaska, have you? I'm like, oh, okay. So it's all relative. But anyways, back to New England. We're in New England, so we start to wear more clothes. So that is why, this is why I do not teach this as my primary attack. I teach this. Because we want to think about the pointed end of the weapon going through the clothes. This should be a secondary, or again, we want to think about the angle of the dangle. We always want to think about the disposition of the weapon. Also wanted to think about, we want to think about the disposition of everything. If he's naked, I might be able to catch that. Again, if he's naked, I do that, it's not going to work. If he's got clothes on and I do that, I got a good chance. Even if he's wearing like a leather jacket. If I get a nice sharp blade, which I have one, or two, or three, I can drive through. If I start this, yeah, maybe I'll give him a little bruise. Maybe I'll give him a little paper cut. And if he's big and mean, that might just irritate him. So always think about how many layers of clothing. You have to be aware of everything. So if you're out in the wilderness fighting a bear, you get a lot of clothing. You might not want to try a lock. If you get a lot of clothes on like this, a couple of layers, locks may or may not work. So beat him to death with that stick first. Oops, I shouldn't say that. That's not PC at all, is it? All right.